With Christmas being as commercial and capitalistic as it is, it can be difficult for some people to enjoy the holidays. Whether it be family or financial issues, the holidays often bring with them a feeling of stress or dread that can be impossible to separate from this time of year. However, I believe that one way that anyone can celebrate or reflect during the holidays and can bring various types of people together is through the enjoyment of Christmas specials. Episodes of television or TV films that riddle the airways during the holidays. While there are new ones every year, some specials have been airing on TV for years, closing the generation gap as people young and old can bond over the viewing experience of something meant to be an escape from all the stress that Christmas can entail. There's something about Christmas specials that evokes a certain level of nostalgia and festive feelings that pair perfectly. Many of us make a point to watch specific Christmas specials, even if, as we've grown up, we've realized that maybe they weren't so good as we remember. Even now, while discussing them, maybe there's a specific one that comes to mind for you that you make a point to watch every year. I've mentioned before how I personally enjoy practical effects and physical world building, as I believe it adds another element of immersion and imagination into what we consume. Therefore, it's no surprise that I would find myself entranced by the nostalgic, gleeful holiday bliss of the worlds created by Jim Henson and his crew. While coming from a chaotic and bizarre start, a staple in Henson's work that will carry throughout his entire career would be his overarching warmth within his projects, so it only makes sense that his style would lend itself well to a Christmas setting. However, if you haven't seen all or many of the Christmas specials produced by Jim Henson Productions, you may be surprised how strange and offbeat some of them are. I believe that by following a through line on all these Christmas productions, it's possible to see what makes them so, well, special, leading Henson to create what I believe to be the greatest Christmas special of all time. Let's have a very Jim Henson Christmas.
Here to tell you the story about Emmett, Otters.
By the time that Jim Henson started to make a serious name for himself in the television industry, Christmas specials were a part of American Christmas culture, as multiple popular television shows had their own Christmas specials, and many of the Rankin Bass Christmas specials had been released to overwhelming popularity. In the late 60s, Henson had become so popular through his previous projects such as Sam and Friends, his ads for Wilkins Coffee and other products, as well as his many appearances on talk and variety shows, that it was no surprise that Henson's first Christmas project would come in the form of a special for the Ed Sullivan Show.
Mr. Sullivan.
Yeah?
What's the story called?
The Great Santa Claus Switch.
Henson's first credited Christmas special would come in 1970 with The Great Santa Claus Switch, which aired as a Christmas special for The Ed Sullivan Show. The hour-long special would feature a slew of colorful characters, original songs, and intricate set pieces, following Santa, played by Art Carney, who gets kidnapped and switched with the evil wizard Cosmo Scam, also played by Carney, who plans to rob every house on Christmas night. It would be one of the most ambitious early Henson productions, as Henson would have over 20 puppeteers at a time working on the project. The show featured a trademarked Henson charm, comedy, and characters. However, the special is somewhat off-putting and unwholesome for a Christmas special. There are moments of warmth and Christmas spirit, however, with the emphasis on the cave that Cosmo lives in, populated by the Frackles, an evil prototype of what clearly went on to inspire the cave-dwelling Fraggles, there's a grim tone in the set and characters that doesn't necessarily fit into the holiday season. It would also be the debut of a puppet who would later be slightly remodeled to be Gonzo. So, while The Great Santa Claus Switch may not be the most memorable or celebrated of Henson's Christmas specials, it surely set the groundwork for a lot of ideas, characters, and designs that would be important for the future. And most importantly, it illustrated that Henson was definitely capable of creating creative and engaging work and breathing new life into the tried and true tradition of the Christmas special. As a side note, something I found hilarious about this special is that Ed Sullivan seems to struggle to read. His awkward narration at the beginning and a little bit throughout had me laughing immediately.
Matter of fact, he's the youngest member of a whole group of elves. And these elves, as you probably already guessed, they all work for Santa Claus. These are the good guys in our story. But there are also some very bad guys.
Throughout the early 70s, Jim Henson would essentially reach an early icon status, cementing his work into legend with many successful projects, namely The Muppet Show, which would begin in 1974. While The Muppet Show would feature multiple Christmas-themed episodes and performances throughout, the next Henson Christmas special wouldn't come for 7 years after The Great Santa Claus Switch, and would rarely even feature any of the characters that Henson had marked into pop culture during this time. It came with the release of Emmett Otters' Jug-Band Christmas in 1977. Most versions of the special would start with Kermit the Frog opening the show. However, despite a quick appearance at the the beginning, the special would feature many brand new characters coming from Russell Hoban's book of the same name from 1971. Focusing on the titular Emmett Otter, the musical would follow the Otter family, as Emmett and his buddies enter the Jug-Band and a talent show contest in an attempt for Emmett to win money to get his mother a Christmas gift, as his mother does the same for him. The aesthetic of the special itself, along with the music composed by Paul Williams, draws inspiration from the folky and woodsy aesthetic of the South. Adapted by longtime collaborator of Henson, Jerry Jewell, Henson would bring Hoban's characters to life with brand new puppets and voices, even using new techniques that Henson will go on to use in the future, such as radio-controlled puppets and effects.
The grass does not grow on the places where we stop and stand.
River Bottom Nightmare Band.
It's also noteworthy that the special was clearly inspired by The Gift of the Magi. The special would be a critical success, being nominated for 4 Grammys. However, the lack of recognizable characters has led to the special being more on the side of a cult classic in the current day, rather than a bona fide Christmas staple. While the general Christmas spirit of being giving and appreciating family and loved ones is indeed prevalent, most of the plot centers around the band and Emmett's mother making their music, and going up against the scummy River Bottom boys in the contest. The music has a distinct charm, but nowhere in any of the songs is Christmas mentioned or even referenced. In fact, the opening song is a joke song about the Otter family's grandma's bathing suit and how large it is.
Sure, she was known for her generous silhouette, and yet she was known even more for the bathing suit she wore.
It is no question that the charming and lovable characters, music, and setting have helped the special garner a certain following. However, like the Great Santa Claus Switch, the offbeat and eccentric set and character choices, and somewhat dim central theme of Christmas and Christmas aesthetics, has led to these specials falling under the radar in comparison to Henson's later Christmas specials. However, Emmett Otter's Jug-Band Christmas was a clear step in the right direction, and his overabundance of catchy music, heartfelt moments, and good time vibe, along with its cast of characters, was illustrating that Henson and company were getting better and better at capturing the essence of the meaning of Christmas and blending it with their patented style.
When the river meets the almighty sea.
Shortly after Emmett Otter was released, Henson would be involved in 2 Christmas specials for the monumental Sesame Street. Christmas Eve on Sesame Street, which would air on December 3rd, 1978, and a special Sesame Street Christmas, which would air December 8th of the same year. First, Christmas Eve on Sesame Street will begin with a bizarre ice skating sequence that shows the characters clearly being the same size as humans, which I found to be very unsettling.
There we go. Okay, Bert. Watch the left foot, Bert. Ooh, ooh, here it goes.
However, once those long 8 minutes are up, the rest of the special functions as more or less normal episode of Sesame Street, with interviews with children and Big Bird wondering how Santa gets down the chimney. The special will go on to win an Emmy for Outstanding Children's Program. The latter, a special Sesame Street Christmas, is interesting in hindsight. While the episode functioned like a normal episode of Sesame Street, it would only feature 3 Muppets in total: Oscar, Big Bird, and Barkley. The episode would also be an interpretation of Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol, as Oscar the Grouch, unsurprisingly, takes on the role of Scrooge, using a series of experiences with guests to make him gain appreciation for the holiday. With the warm feelings that Sesame Street had already provided for years, as well as it being a staple in the American household, these specials put Christmas and other holidays as well at the forefront, and again illustrated that Muppets and Christmas together just make sense.
Ba-dum-bum-bum, 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree.
A year later, a new Christmas-themed Henson production would come to fruition, taking the shape of something entirely different once again. The next time the Muppets would be seen during the Christmas season would be alongside folk singer-songwriter John Denver in John Denver and the Muppets: A Christmas Together. It would air on December 5th in 1979 and blended the Muppet-style variety show of sketches and segments with Christmas song performances from Denver alongside the cast of familiar faces. Most of the performances would feature a variety of set pieces and spectacles set to mostly classic Christmas music. The soundtrack from the special would get multiple releases releases and would perhaps be more of an iconic Christmas staple than the special itself. While the special was a clear critical and commercial success, pairing the chaotic but endearing characters with the warm sounds of John Denver put the music at the forefront. In fact, finding the special in good quality today is more or less impossible, as it has never received any kind of home release. The only versions of the special found today are ripped from fans' personal VHS tapes, which would only further the popularity of the album specifically, with no clear way to watch the special. This would not be the only time that the Muppets would collaborate with Denver, as due to the success of the special, they would film Rocky Mountain Holiday in 1982. The project was a clear success, and by hitting all the marks in terms of Christmas aesthetics that people wanted to see, and teaming with a musician to bring a new warmth and holiday feeling into the music, Henson had made his first bona fide, no questions asked Christmas classic.
Merry Christmas, Piggy. Merry Christmas, Curly. Merry Christmas, Jonathan.
Merry Christmas, you guys.
Am I the Christmas toy?
No! I'm the Christmas toy.
Following a Christmas episode of Fraggle Rock in 1984, the next standalone Christmas special to be produced by the Jim Henson Company was The Christmas Toy. It's noteworthy that Jim himself had less to do with the production of this special, besides the short cameo as Kermit. Similar to Emmett Otter, the special would open with Kermit introducing the story. It would focus on a brand new cast of characters. The special, which predates Toy Story, is about a group of toys that come to life when their owners are asleep. Rugby the Tiger wants to relive the joy of being the favorite Christmas toy, as he was last year, but risks being seen outside his normal spot, which would make him frozen forever. While there are some similarities to the Pixar film, the concept was unique for the time, and making seemingly normal toys come to life only makes sense, as this is an idea that the Henson Company had been doing for years. The special inspired a TV series that would air almost a decade after the original special. As almost every Henson Christmas special before it, it has a heartwarming moral about friendship and family at its core, which fits into the idea of a Christmas special. However, based on a change in design of the Muppets, which instead of featuring the familiar Muppet charm, focused on breathing life into pre-existing concepts of toys, and due to the fact that the special didn't feature any recognizable characters, the Christmas toy has fallen into the background of the many Henson Christmas specials. Many performers that have worked on a multitude of previous projects were involved with this one as well, and the film featured original songs. However, this wasn't enough to bring the special into an iconic status. While some of the set pieces are creative in the way that they use scale to shrink the world around the small toys, there seems to be a lack of grandiosity or imagination that's prevalent in previous Henson projects that was holding the special back as well. While similar to Emmett Otter in the sense that it featured new characters and songs, the Henson Company had made some changes in the 10 years since, and focused their story on central ideas of Western Christmas traditions, creating yet another successful Christmas story. So, as we track the Christmas works of Jim Henson from 1970 to 1986, what we see is a development of style in the genre of work. Of course, the vast amount of projects produced by Henson during this time outside of Christmas-related things was adding to the world that Henson was creating across all of his works. And as this world gained a stronger aesthetic, style, and sense of self, so too did these standalone specials. So I believe that the next entry in the Jim Henson Christmas lineup is not only the best Henson Christmas special, but also one of the most warm, comforting, and enjoyable Christmas specials of all time. Airing in 1987, A Muppets Family Christmas has everything you could ask out of a Jim Henson Christmas special. It features many of the notable characters throughout the years, as well as being one of the only Henson features to have a crossover between the Muppets, Fraggle Rock, and Sesame Street. The special revolves around Fozzie deciding to surprise his mother by inviting the entire Muppet cast to their home for Christmas. Meanwhile, she had planned on going on vacation and rented her house to Doc and Sprocket from Fraggle Rock. Much like Christmas is known for being a time of togetherness, the special focuses on this heavily. Not only do they bring almost the entire Muppet cast together, but Henson brings all of his beloved characters across franchises together as well. The special features various subplots, songs, sets, and even Henson himself makes a brief cameo.
Well, they certainly seem to be having a good time out there, Sprocket. Yeah, I like it when they have a good time. But I tell you what, somebody's got to do something about these dishes, Sprocket. Come on.
So it's no surprise that it ended up being a commercial and critical success, being nominated for an Emmy and winning a Variety Award from the WGA. While the special is relatively easy to find online, it is likely that the special will never air again, and some elements of the show are now essentially lost media. Due to the rights in various franchises and characters being split up between companies, the show cannot currently be aired as the Muppets have become a separate entity. Even during the home video release, portions of the special were edited to avoid copyright issues. But like everything online, luckily, there's a dedicated and passionate fan base who've made sure to preserve the original special as best as possible, making it easy to enjoy years after its release. I believe this to be the Henson's Christmas masterpiece, due to the fact that I believe it pulls heavily from each of his previous efforts to create something special special for the audience. It incorporates detailed set pieces and original songs, paired with a cast of colorful characters. However, Henson uses the familiarity and ubiquity of the Muppets to illuminate feelings of nostalgia, comfort, and family. This can reflect for some viewers the Christmas experience at home, as the grand coming together of all these various characters can mirror the holiday season. Or for viewers who have a more negative connotation toward the holidays, Henson creates another world to escape in. If not the best, Muppets Family Christmas is certainly my favorite Henson Christmas production. However, the Jim Henson Company would go on to create another fantastic piece of Christmas media, and while Henson himself wouldn't be involved and it wasn't a Christmas special but rather a feature film, it would be remiss to make a video like this without including it in the list.
There goes Mr. Humbug, there goes Mr. Grim. If they gave a prize for being mean, the winner would be him.
In the May of 1990, there was a Henson-shaped hole in the heart of the film and television industry, as Jim Henson would tragically pass away suddenly at 53 years old. It wouldn't be long after this that his son Brian Henson would help Jim's friends, longtime co-workers, and loved ones channel his father's creative spirit and love for old stories into the Muppet Christmas Carol. The film does deserve a mention in this video because it was originally meant to be a television special, but was ultimately developed into a film. The adaptation is entirely faithful to the original Dickens tale, however with an upped production and effort breathes entirely new life into the story. Being the first major Muppets project after the death of Henson, people who wrote down the film wanted to ensure, like Henson, that they did not compromise the vision. In 1992, Brian Henson made his directorial debut to an overwhelming success, as the film has gone on to be one of the most successful Muppet projects to date. I think what this film represents is a culmination of all the previous Christmas specials that Henson had made in the past. It focuses on a tale of Christmas-themed morality and uses that Henson-style warmth to enhance the story, much like Henson had done for many Christmas specials he and his team produced. There's a reason that over 30 years later, the film is still highly regarded as one of the most imaginative and impressive adaptations of A Christmas Carol, an accolade that Henson would no doubt be proud of. What also makes the film special is how many talented people, including Jim Henson's own son, were able to take their grief and confusion, but also admiration for Henson and his work, and create something so beautiful. For a season about family and coming together, that seems to be the most fitting thing of all. So while there are many great Christmas specials and movies out there, the physical worlds and characters that the Jim Henson Company have created throughout the years deserve a spot in the annals of the Christmas Media Hall of Fame. No matter what bizarre or gloomy or southern or familiar or musical feeling Jim Henson was going for in his Christmas specials, he created each with a care and passion that is undeniable, even if the special itself doesn't resonate with you as much. So take some time this holiday season to watch one, and maybe show it to a friend or family member. Perhaps you'll develop a new tradition with them, or maybe just a tradition with yourself to make the holidays special and find light even when it can be the darkest. Thanks for listening. Take it easy.
When you meet somebody that don't like soul food, they still got a soul. And it don't mean that you got no rhythm if you don't like rock and roll. We can't do